Welcome and thank you for staying with KTN Farmers TV. I'm Philip Keitang and this is Agri News. The third edition of Fruit, Vegetables and Herbs Conference 2019 kicked off on the 25th to the 27th of this month. The exhibition brought together stakeholders from the fresh produce subsector to explore opportunities of promoting competitiveness of Kenyans' fresh produce. Our reporter Margaret Wairimu attended the event and files the following report.
The Fruits, Vegetable and Herbs Conference took place at the Kenya School of Monetary Studies. The three-day event brought together stakeholders, aggregators, exporters and farmers to discuss better systems and solutions to promote compliance to market standards for fresh produce export. The CEO of Fresh Produce Exporters Association of Kenya, Mr. Hosea Machuki, spoke on the expectations of the conference and its impact to enabling market access of fresh produce.
The main drive to have this conference is about bringing together all the key players within the fruits, vegetables, herbs and spices sector to be able to look at a range of issues, the challenges, the opportunities, the possibilities. There are many, so that we can have discussions, we can have networks, we can have business-to-business meetings, where then we explore the possibilities of solving the challenges that we have, which are many, and discussing the new emerging issues that are coming from especially the marketplace, from the EU, from Asia, from America.
The chairman of the Fresh Produce Exporters Association of Kenya, Apollo Owor, on his opening remarks, said that the purpose of the conference and exhibition is to see a well-laid-out value chain to drive the horticultural sector to another level.
It's not worth having a conference every year and then we don't have any action plans. I would really love to see this conference getting more meaning and traction as time goes by. Been looking to the EU as the lead market. Every conversations have been around exports. Yet when you look at the numbers on what exports contribute vis-a-vis how we perform regionally and within the domestic markets, our export business, much as we get this industry, just in terms of fruits and vegetables alone, is worth about 40 billion shillings. If you add it with flowers, then we come to a figure of around 153 billion. But as a study has been done that looks at the domestic market on horticulture, and in Nairobi alone, can somebody guess the number? Is bigger than what we do in the export business. It's worth about 200 billion shillings. That's Nairobi alone. Now when you build it further to look at the national level of the value of horticulture business, it goes to 700 billion.
The conference is also meant to educate the stakeholders on the international standards they need to meet if they are to supply countries like China, UK, US and Europe. The government, through the Ministry of Trade and Industrialization, is also working towards expanding the markets of Kenyans' fresh produce.
Horticulture being our number two or one of the top foreign exchange earning sectors in the country. And he is committed to ensuring that our efforts in terms of regional integration in Africa and beyond bear fruits in opening markets for our Kenyans who are in the horticulture sector. The horticulture sector is one of the leading foreign exchange earning and contributes approximately 1.8% to the national gross domestic product as of 2018. The government has really committed to focusing on this sector, especially during this time when we are implementing the Big Four agenda, focusing on food security and also focusing on enhancing, market access through, opening of markets. And he has given examples of the gains we have actually achieved in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, where most of our countries' manufactured products are destined. The European market, where we sell a lot of our fresh vegetables, fruits and herbs. The Chinese market, where in the recent past we signed an SPS protocol and stevia protocol, and recently the first consignment of frozen avocado arrived in China, and therefore appreciates the efforts which have been put forward by the private sector, especially in this sector, in terms of contributing to the development of our country.
With emphasis on exploring opportunities in this subsector, the government and the private stakeholders will work together to promote competitiveness of Kenya's fruits, vegetables and herbs sector through greater adoption of business models that will support compliance to standards and regulations and market requirements. For Agri News, I'm Margaret Moirore.
The International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center country representative Dr. Stephen Mugo has called on National Environmental Management Authority NEMA to approve pending applications on BT maize for national performance trials, saying it will enhance food security in the country.
The existing ban on genetically modified foods has also not helped the matter, saying the onus is with the government and agencies to ensure the ban and approval is lifted. According to Dr. Mugo, scientists in the country have for the last 10 years conducted trials on various varieties of BT maize that is drought and pest resistant, and the results have been overwhelmingly positive.
With the NEMA, I think being a regulatory body, we will wait for the way, they will show us the way forward, when they will be able to give us the approval for the EIA. I'm sure because we have an application that is still studying with no response, we still expect them to give us a response.
Dr. Mugo insists the delays in getting approvals for National Performance Trials, NPT, and finally the release of BT maize and commercialization is an injustice to the farmers who are currently not getting value for money for varieties they plant.
We did artificial infestation with the insect pest, with the Chiropteras. The version that has the BT, which is protected, is clean. The one which doesn't have the BT gene is extensively damaged by the stem borers, which were infested artificially, and also by the foreign which came from the natural infestation.
According to Professor Paul Kimani of NVRC, the technology will be a major milestone for farmers once BT maize is approved by the relevant authorities. He said it is evident after the trials conducted have shown that the BT maize has a high resistance to pests such as the fall armyworm, and called on NEMA to accelerate the approvals so that farmers can benefit from the technology.
We have the protocols for the BT maize, and we are hoping that we are going to carry out the process up to the end. If we get the necessary approval from the NBA and the NEMA.
Eric Manyasa, a sorghum breeder and a member of NPTC, said it was evident that the varieties show great tolerance to pest and drought, and once they have the clearance, they will release them to the public.
Like fall armyworm, it's evident that we have come a long way, but we already have a light at the end of the tunnel. We have seen varieties that are already showing great tolerance or resistance to both pests, both stem borer and fall armyworm, that have the BT gene. We can confidently say that we have a product that farmers can use to fight the two pests.
Hilda Kibet reporting for KTN Farmers TV.
Fishermen from Vanga in Kwale County have protested against the new legal guidelines, which are restricting them from fishing beyond the 5 nautical miles inside the sea. The new law also provides for the strict use of certified nets, among other requirements. The protesters claim such stringent measures have deprived them of their livelihoods. Our coastal reporter Tobias Chanji with more.
Packed doors and small boats is what welcomes you to the shores of Vanga here in Kwale County. Minimal fishing activities taking place. This has been the scenario for over 2 weeks now. Reason being, they have to fish at daytime only and using fishing nets that have been approved. Tired of these frustrations, they decided to take to the streets.
Ambayo tukiangalia sisi ni wavuvi wadogo na vyombo vyetu haviwezi kuhimili dharubu za bahari kufikia katika maili hizo 5.
They trekked for almost 17 kilometers from Vanga to Lungalunga to meet the Deputy County Commissioner Josephat Biwott to present their petition.
Kukuza ajira kwa vijana takriban 40 mpaka 50 kwa chombo kimoja.
Kwa kweli athari iliyotupata sasa hivi sisi hapa tumekwama, hapa tulipo tumemaka.
Lakini kwa wiki 2-3 hizi sasa mambo yameharibika tena, na yeye alituahidi atakuja, hakuja. Kwa hivyo tumeona sisi twende sisi kule.
In the meantime, fish lovers will have to do with a limited supply as the standoff continues.
Agricultural Development Farm Yara organized an open day for farmers in Bomet County. The event was aimed at enhancing farmers' knowledge, especially in utilizing fertilizer the right way, taking into consideration the different types of crops and their needs.
We don't want the farmer to utilize fertilizer when when it's not going to be optimal. It's going to be too dry, and therefore that crop is not going to take the nutrients the way it's supposed to. So this is an add-on service that we're providing to our farmers to help them to improve their productivity. And this is what we are doing here today, and this is also something we are doing throughout the entire country.
Tungependa pia kuhimiza Yara waendelee hivi kufundisha wakulima, na pia kuna hii app mpya yenye wametoa yenye itasaidia pia wakulima kupanga kama kuna mvua ama ile unaweza angalia mvua yenye imepita, ama siku 7 siku 4 yenye iko mbele, utakuwa unajua kuna mvua inakuja. Mkulima ataweza kupanga rotuba yake, ama aweze kupanga kununua mbegu ndio aweze kupanda wakati yenye unafaa, ama apande at the right time kulingana na vile mvua imekuja.
Let's now look at the roundup of other agricultural stories that made headlines in other parts of the world.
Cacao producers in a remote region of the Peruvian Amazon celebrated an annual chocolate festival last weekend as authorities ramp up efforts to persuade farmers to switch to harvesting cacao from coca, which is used to make cocaine. The festival in the San Martin de Pangoa region took place in a main square and featured producers who showed chocolates mixed with nearly 24 flavors, including pineapple, blueberries, coffee, and a warm cold suri, which is rich in protein. The region is located in the valley of the Apurimac, which is the same area where a large amount of Peruvian cocaine is produced. Peru is a major producer of organic cacao, which is exported to the United States, the Netherlands, and Belgium. The South American country also claims 60% of the crop's genetic biodiversity. For nearly a decade, the Ghana poultry sector has contracted due to the decreasing profitability of egg and meat production. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, domestically produced broiler meat fell from nearly 60% of all poultry consumed in Ghana in 2000 to 20% in 2011. At the same time, imports have increased from 13,900 metric tons to over 155,000 metric tons. This demand has not matched local production, leading to increases in chicken imports over the last 10 years with huge import bills. The Ghana Poultry Project, which is sponsored by the United States Department of Agriculture (USDA), intends to increase targeted sector commercial performance by building coordination between farms, promoting the adoption of quality standards, strengthening business planning, and marketing penetration strategies, as well as reinforcing buyer-supplier linkages. The project, which is being implemented by ACDI and TechnoServe, has been established to increase the competitiveness of the domestic production and processing of poultry meat and eggs, and is supported by the apex body of women in poultry value chain. Membership include aggregators of maize and soya, day-old chick suppliers, dealers in poultry inputs such as fish meal, concentrates, poultry drugs and feed, poultry farmers, egg sellers and distributors of chicken and guinea fowl. In Guyana, the Ministry of Agriculture, in collaboration with the Region 4 Health Department, was launched at the Guyana Realigning Agriculture for Improved Nutrition and Health program. According to a statement from the Ministry of Agriculture, the program was developed to help improve the physical, psychosocial, and cultural health status of residents in Region 4 through the use of sustainable domestic agricultural practices. The minister within the Ministry of Agriculture with responsibility for rural affairs, Valerie Adams, in delivering the keynote address at the opening, said the ministry welcomed the convergence of ideas to address the objectives of the Agriculture and Health Ministries. Hilda Kibet reporting for KTN Farmers TV.
On today's segment of Sauti ya Mkulima, we talk to pig farmers in various parts of Nairobi and Kitengela on how they are reducing production costs by mixing their own feeds.
once we do the cleaning of the padlocks, once we do the cleaning, what we do, we use that manure to grow some napier grass and some maize. And that is the same napier grass we use to feed the cows. Also, although we also give some supplements, which we normally sell, which we normally buy from the shop. Some of it I get from Uganda, and when they come, because Uganda they are normally available. They are readily available in Uganda. So when they come, especially the maize jam, I get it from Uganda. So when they come, I normally now mix it with the supplements of the same supplements I get them from Uganda. Okay. So you mix it. There is the cotton supplements. We normally have cotton, sunflower, soya, cotton, sunflower, and soya, and fish meal. Okay. So we mix it with the maize jam, and also bran and Poland, and we make it's cheaper that way. So we are able to make our own kind of dairy meal through that mixing. You get different raw materials and then you mix them yourself. Okay. Yeah.
Now, why Uganda?
Because it's cheaper. Okay. It's cheaper. I can show you some papers, how much you get it. Like it landed yesterday from Uganda. I can show you, and you compare the prices in UG. And again, in Uganda, it's normally whole meal.
I normally don't advise farmers to buy for themselves and mix, because maybe they cannot have the right formula. Maybe a farmer can go wrong when it comes to drugs, because these feeds, in these feeds we normally put some drugs. So drugs maybe can be put more or less, will have an effect with to the animal that is going to feed on it. So I don't advise farmers to buy things so that they mix for themselves.
Now let's look at how different agricultural commodities are performing in different markets across the country.
Across the country.
We also want to say thank you very much for the feedback that you give us on our social media platform. And here on Agri News Every Day, we will be reading some of your feedback. For example, today, some of you have given us feedback. Samuel Odoyo Gumba from Isibania, Migori County. He says he's age 47 and says, my dream is to be a poultry farmer. Samuel, what I'll say is continue watching KTN Farmers TV, especially every Monday from 7 p.m. We have a show called Poultry Farming, and I'm sure it will help you become even a better poultry farmer. Another viewer here says, hi, I did watch a show some times back and got interested in grafted apples. What I'll tell you, though you didn't tell us your name or where you're coming from, I can advise you to keep watching KTN Farmers TV, especially every Monday and Tuesday we have a show called Fresh and Fruity, but you can also contact an agronomist from your area who can guide you on how to do grafting. Last but not least, we have another viewer here who says, my name is Emmanuel. Mimi naitwa Emmanuel kutoka Wasingishu, napongeza vipindi vya KTN Farmers TV. Emmanuel, pia sisi tunashukuru sana na tutazidi kutia bidii kukuletea vipindi ambavyo vitakuelimisha. That's all from Agri News today. My name is Philip Keitang. I'll now leave you with the weather forecast.